my dear PU second year students and learning enthusiasts. Very, should I say good afternoon or good morning? Almost we are reaching afternoon, noon rather. So welcome to the class. I wish to indicate to you that there was a technical glitch and then we solved it now, the internet problem. And now that the technical problem has been done, fixed, I think we can resume with our particular class. In my yesterday's class, I was talking to you, thanks to the benign blessings of Lord Sharana Vasveshwara, who was breathing through me yesterday and even today, always. I was talking to you about what exactly is a traveler. That was a genre, separate typical genre. I was talking to you about that on this side of the board. After that, or even before that, we started something about George Meeks, who was a Hungarian-born British citizen and also a very great writer, publisher, a multi-talented personality. He was a political satirist, he was a humorist, above all, a very great humanitarian who lived on this globe for 75 years from 1912 to 1987, if I'm right. And he departed from this world. He wrote many works. Yesterday, I told you all of them, but if not all, the majority of them at least. And in today's class, we are going to deal with the second part of that particular travelogue. In fact, as I told you yesterday itself, the entire information relating to Japan and information relating to Brazil rather, that has actually been collected from two different sources. That's what I told you in my yesterday's class. So this part two is talking about Japan. You can see here the land of the, how would I put it, the land of the rising sun. Japan is usually termed as the land of the rising sun. So you can see the land of the rising, instead of calling it land of the rising sun, he called his book the land of the rising yen. So this part has been taken from George Meeks, the land of, that is the source. The source is the land of the, the land of the rising, let me put it this way, the land of the rising yen. The land of the rising yen is a particular book written by none other than George Meeks. So from this book, the certain episodes have been given an adaptation, rather a critical adaptation, I should say. Very beautifully, it has been collected, that information, and has been given to our what is called study. So let us start exactly what George Meeks really wants to indicate in this particular piece. That is what is my main aim when I start this one. So please remember. By the way, I must also indicate it to you that the way in which all these things are presented should also be an indication to you as to how notes must be written. We are going to almost, I should say, text-wise, if you say, only some 70% of the text belongs to this category. Japan. When it comes to Brazil rather, you can see spellings that were originally used by those respective countries. I tried my best to use the popular spelling of Japan. Japan actually has three scripts, and the popular script I have chosen. And Brazil, this is how those people write officially their country's name, not ZIL, but SIL. Hence, I chose that one. Yesterday also I explained that one. So, this is part 2, and I hope you would definitely appreciate all these important things. Now, in what is called telephone etiquette, it is manners, how they actually behave. The second one is the bowing etiquette, you can see here. Third one is eating etiquette, eating or drinking etiquette. And finally, the fourth one is what is called their etiquette at the bus stop. So, bus stop etiquette. Like that, I tried my best to summarize what exactly has been given in this particular part in the form of four important headlines. I hope you are able to understand my aim at that particular point. Now we will see what exactly the writer wants to offer to us in the name of this beautiful piece of an essay. See, if the writer has written something very beautifully, we will be inspired to present that particular information in a better way. You see, so the total credit goes to the writer only, to the writer, that is other than George Meeks. If George Meeks had not written this particular essay so wonderfully, even I wouldn't have felt that particular feeling that I should be presenting it in this particular manner. So the credit again I offer, I put it on another than judgment. So let us see what exactly the writer wishes to say here without any further delay. So the Japanese manners, that's what is the title given to us. Japanese etiquette, that's what. So let us take it as Japanese manners. So part 2. So this is the part 2, and part 2 of, in fact I told you, I'm dividing this entire thing into 2 parts like that, I told you. So here we are going to see Japanese etiquette. So let us see that. Japanese, that is the title, etiquette or manners. I prefer this one. If you want, I will write that word also, which has been given as heading in your textbook. So Japanese etiquette, you are going to see in this. So let us take the points one after the other. I am going to write the points. Let us read the text first, and once a particular point is over, then I shall be writing that particular point. So in that way, we can, I believe, make things rather pretty easy for us, for our own reference. So one after the other, let us do. A quarter of an hour in Japan will convince you that you are among exquisitely well-mannered people. Exquisitely well-mannered people. By birth, they are well-mannered. Exquisitely seen from the outside, from any corner or in any point of view. Okay, exquisitely, what is called well-mannered people, well-behaved people. You don't find them to be rugged fellows, uncivilized personalities. It is very difficult to see in Japan. That's what the writer's impression was. People who live on a hopelessly overcrowded island have to respect one another's privacy. It is very, in fact, when I was living in the Maldives, I could understand the true purport of this sentence. In about a 2.5 kilometer circumference, the capital city Male exists. Just 2.5 kilometers only. And so overcrowded that particular city is. And respecting one's privacy, even they too do the same. They respect our privacy like anything. And they expect us to respect their privacy as well. So privacy becomes very, so privacy is, you should have some kind of space to do your own activities. That is called privacy. You don't want those activities to be noticed by others. For example, you are writing a novel. You don't want that particular activity to be advertised before it is published or before it is prepared for publication. You have your own XYZ reasons for that particular act. So you don't want that act to be seen. This is called privacy. You don't want your things to be noticed by others. So that is the most prevalent point in these overcrowded zones, especially in islands. But they don't intrude anybody's privacy. Privacy is of utmost or pivotal importance to them. Nobody intrudes anyone's privacy. That is what everybody should be able to understand. So about privacy, let us have these 2-3 points here. Okay, about privacy. About privacy. In fact, Traveler'S should finally look like this only. That is the reason why I have chosen this book form, so that you can get that feel of Traveler. how a traveler would be, how a traveler would usually be written. Next time when you visit any place for that matter, make a note that you are going to what is called write that particular traveler in this particular ways. See, my dear listeners and even learning enthusiasts, it is not only the information that we write in the form of words that conveys the message. Anything that you draw conveys the message. So sometimes pictures convey better message than 100 number of words. So that also you can keep. So it is that way. So here we are talking about what is called privacy. So privacy is of utmost importance. So privacy is of utmost importance. So it is very important to them, and everybody respects the next person's privacy. No intrusion at all. You don't find any kind of intrusion into others' affairs. So no eavesdropping. People will not drop. So no intrusion. No intrusion. That is, we don't have. They don't have. They don't have any kind of desire to learn what other people are doing. In our country, we have more importance given to this only. Many people want to know what other people are doing. What is happening in their house, they don't know. But what is happening in others' houses, they want. This kind of attitude is prevalent in our country. At least majority, if not all. But whereas in Japan, it is not like that. It is an entirely opposite situation. So no intrusion into others' affairs. What is happening? Even if there are 100 people around you, you can talk to your lover if you have one, and nobody questions who you are, why you are doing that. In fact, the words do not go into their ears. This is how they are brought up. This is how their very psyche is. This is how their very behavior is. That's what the writer says. Take for example, it is courtesy and it is substitute privacy. It is courtesy. They take it as courtesy, respect. That is, creating a private zone, even when there are too many people, is a matter of respect to them. They take it as a matter of respect. That's why they definitely do it. They don't intrude. So that is the way in which. How do they do that? They do it because they consider it as a matter of respect. So privacy is a matter of respect. So privacy is a matter of respect. So it is not an ordinary act. They think in that way. It is not ordinary act. Then they think that it is a very wonderful act, and that's the reason why they are doing it. So that is what is called some kind of public attitude. Their attitude to all these things. That is what we should also appreciate. Then the instrument is situated. Sorry. Take for example the little red telephones in the streets, shops, halls of hotels. Now you see, I tried to put the telephone here inside the box. Now the telephone is inside this box. This is a telephone booth, and you can see a person standing over there and talking. Very clearly, it is visible as well. I will make it clear now by rubbing one or two lines. You can definitely see this personality clearly now. I hope now it is clearer than before. Now you can see this particular fellow. He is talking. There is a phone and he is talking. Okay. Then on a table or on a counter, they have no space to spare for booths. Nowadays, you have telephone booths selected. That's why I did it. But when the writer actually visited Japan, of course, they didn't have that very particular concept. The instrument is situated on a table or on a counter. They have no space to spare for booths. You conduct your most confidential business transactions, your intimate love quarrels in public. You can talk most secretive business transactions. You can talk. Okay, you can talk your most secret business transactions. Okay, that's what here it is mentioned. Okay, business transactions. Then love affairs, even love affairs, business transactions, love affairs, both of them in fact, not at all noticed. They go unnoticed. Go unnoticed. Nobody takes any notice of them. Both of them go unnoticed. Nobody takes any interest in them. What you are talking, they don't want. Not unlike here. We don't know how things go away. Even if we think in our mind that particular word comes out and goes to the person to whom we don't want that particular thing to be reached. That's what happens in our country. But in Japan, it is an entirely opposite scene. You have what is called this kind of etiquette about privacy and about telephone. That is what you have here. Now let us see what exactly the writer wishes to say about bus stop etiquette and all at a later date. So first of all, we have these things. Then, so any passerby could listen in, but nobody does. A man's telephone receiver is his castle. A man's telephone receiver is his castle. That is a very beautiful sentence that has been given. So I write that sentence here. A man's telephone, a man's telephone is telephone receiver. Sorry. A man's telephone receiver is his castle. A beautiful sentence. One sentence summarizing the whole description. That is what makes understanding of what is called privacy. That's what makes this. A man's telephone receiver is his what is called castle. What happens inside a king's castle? Nobody knows. Unless someone comes out and reveals. No one knows. Likewise, what is happening when someone is speaking into the receiver of a telephone? Nobody cares, nobody knows. It is that much of privacy you can have in public. That is what the writer actually talks about when it comes to none other than the telephone etiquette of the Japanese. So that is what is the case here. Now let us see what the writer wishes to say in conjunction with what is called the bus stop etiquette. What happens at the bus stops? Let us see now. Now, when the time comes, we will go there. Next. You will of course immediately notice their mania for bowing. So the second point here is not what is called, as I drew here, the bus stop etiquette. But here you have, now we have to go to the second part, that is none other than bowing. In fact, if you see here, there are three types of bowing. There are three important types, subtypes are also there, but three are very important. This is one, this is two, and this is three. I tried my best to attach all the three under one indication. Now you see, these are the three types you can see. First one is called ishaku. You will have their mania, he says, because that is how Western people call it. It is not mania, it is there in their DNA. So it is that is their public habit. It is their social habit. That is how they live. That is how they are brought up. Respect becomes a matter of pivotal importance to all of them. So pivotal and importance, both of them are synonymous. Yet I use them only to suggest how much importance they actually give or allocate to this particular social quality called what is called bowing. So we are now going to this particular part called bowing. How many types are there? That is not mentioned, but for your understanding, I have seen. If you go to Japan, you will see every now and then, every second, okay, people simply what is called respecting each other with a bow. Many people respect each other, or when we meet each other in India, we say namaskara. We say. If you go to Sri Lanka, they say Ayo Bhavan. They fold the hands like that and say Ayo Bhavan. Ayo Bhavan, they say. Whereas here we say Namaskara. If you go to some other countries, they have the habit of kissing each other. Okay, that is also there. Sometimes what they do is cheek and cheek they cross. some people hug, some people shake hands. So there are different ways in which we greet each other. Japanese people have a different way of what is called greeting each other, and it is what is called a bow. They show a bow, and they bow in three different forms. First one is called ishaku. Ishaku is very regular. I wrote it. Casual bow. It's a very casual bow, and regularly we see it like 15 degrees only, very normally they do. How it would be 15 degrees? They have been doing it ever since they were born. So it is a childhood, from childhood they have been practicing. So it is very easy for them. You and I have to practice. But they are, in their case, it is not like that. They have been doing, they are trained. Fine. Then the second is kusure. Kusure is what is called 30 degrees bow. It's a little bit deeper bow than what is called ishaku. So here it is regular formal bow. So the more you bow, the more formality you are indicating, the more respect you are indicating, you are showing the other person. And the last type is keirei. Keirei is what is called 60 degrees bow. It is a respect, it is deep respectful bowing. So these are the three types in which we can find the so-called bowing of the rather than the Japanese. So Japanese bow in these three different ways. So why do they bow like that? As I have already indicated. So what happens here? Let us see now. So if you see here, you will of course immediately notice their mania for bowing. Everybody bows. So that looks like very odd to you. You are not doing it. Everybody keeps bowing to everybody else with the ceremonious solemnity of a courtier, yet with a great deal of natural and inimitable grace. Inimitable, you cannot imitate it. Inimitable means you cannot imitate it. So they bow with a lot of grace. That is what is their greatness. They are able to bow, but that bowing will be done. That bowing will be done with a lot of grace. So bowing is done. So it is done with inimitable grace. I will take the same word. Inimitable means you cannot imitate it. Inimitable grace. Nobody has that much of grace as Japanese have. Because that is their natural way of respecting. That's why it is inimitable grace. With a lot of grace, they bow to each other. Every now and then we can notice. Bowing happens every now and then. Okay? So that is the next point. Bowing happens. Bowing happens. Okay. Very, very, very frequently. Very, very, very frequently it happens. That is the reason why you may consider that it is what is called some kind of madness or mania, something like that. Bowing is neither less nor more silly than shaking hands or kissing the cheek, but it is quainter, more formal, more oriental. It is also infectious. So there are four qualities he is actually talking. George Meek says bowing is what is called it is not silly. Don't think that it is a silly exercise. Kissing can be silly. You don't know the other person.